The Ukraine and Russia Conflict Part 1 by Newbury Press, available on Kindle Unlimited and audio with an Audible subscription, is this very short summary of Ukrainian history. The audio is only about an hour long, and if you play it with the text, it's easy to follow along. This is true even while playing it at a faster speed. As a summary of a summary, the main thing for me to say about this book is it tracks the history of Ukraine and Russia from the alleged proto-nation, Kievan Rus, at the time simply called Rus, to the post-Second War Soviet era. It discusses such key moments as Kievan Rus's acceptance of Orthodox Christianity by Prince Volodymyr, and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth's Union of Brest, which established the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, which at the time was called the Uniate Church. That's also my church. From Kievan Rus to the first modern Ukrainian state in 1917, the text discusses the various regimes which controlled what is now modern-day Ukraine. This includes the Mongol regime, the Lithuanian regime, the Polish regime, the Austrian regime, and of course the Russian regime. However, like most national histories, it's best to think of its history as that of a single people or nation. In this book, it mentions the early Ukrainian movements in the 19th century Lviv, and the first usage of the term Ukraine to refer to a border region. With this in mind, I imagine for someone new to Ukrainian history, it may be difficult for them to grasp from the text the historical differences between the then called Little Russians and Cossacks, both in the east, from that of the Ruthenians in the west. It's also not very clear from this text why these cultures, all distinct from Russian culture, collaborated to form the Ukrainian nation in the 18th, 19th, and 20th century. However, given that the text is short, the text does do a good job tracing Ukraine's origins. While from this text it's not entirely clear how Ukrainians came to know themselves as Ukrainians, it is clear that Ukrainians came from Ukraine, and it's also clear who they were before they called themselves Ukrainians, and most importantly, it's clear why they are Rus but not Russian. What's missing from this short history, or at least this particular volume, is the Ruk independence movement and the Chernobyl crisis in the 1980s. Even more noticeable, despite the provocative cover, is that there is no mention of the current invasion, the 2014 invasion, or any of Ukraine's post-Soviet revolutions. Presumably there are in volume 2 and 3, but that's not the volume we're reviewing. As it is, though, while this is not the best history of Ukraine I've ever read, it might be the best given the approximation of an hour. It does cover quite an expansive amount of time, and I did learn a few things. I learned, for example, how Lithuania came to acquire the Rus people that were living in Kievan Rus after they were already occupied by the Mongols. That was something, that transition from Kievan Rus to Mongols to Lithuanians was a little bit vague to me because I didn't know how they went from Mongol rule to Lithuanian rule. This book specifies that the Lithuanians took the land from the Mongols and that the Rus people welcomed the Lithuanians as liberators, more or less, and that the Lithuanians then converted to Christianity in response. This is something I didn't necessarily know before. But in any case, this is a very good short history of Ukraine. Don't expect to be reading about the modern day crisis or modern day war. Thank you for listening. If you like this video, feel free to leave a thumbs up or subscribe. If you feel I misrepresented the text, please leave a comment telling me why. After all, I'm doing this channel in order to learn. Thank you. Take care. God bless.